Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, regular Township Council meeting of October the 17th, 2023. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the notice on the bulletin board at the municipal building on December the 21st, 2022, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record and the Newark Star Ledger on December the 28th, 2022. Councilman Neglia, would you please lead us in the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Madden, would you call the roll?
Yes, Council President. Mr. Karifi. Here. Mr. DePiero.
Here.
Mr. Musella.
Here.
Mr. Neglia.
Here.
Ms. Grignani.
Here.
Also in attendance are Mayor James Barbario, Township Administrator Jamie Cryan, Township Attorney Michael Lavery, and the Municipal Clerk Colette Madden. Council President, we have a quorum. You may begin.
Thank you. Upcoming meetings. November the 9th, 2023 at 7 p.m. will be an agenda meeting. November the 21st, 2023 at 7 p.m. will be our regular meeting. Approval of minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes of our agenda meeting 9/5/23 and our regular meeting 9/19/23 by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Presentations and reports. Mayor Barbario?
I'll give my report after the presentation. Your sister here? Yeah. All right, good.
Yes, I saw.
All right, Mr. Hansberry, you want to come up? Oh, wait, sir. Good. Well, I've known Mr. Hansberry since, God, he never kicked me out of your place, but since I'm a little boy in Lake Parsippany. 55 years in business in Parsippany, so I want to read the Certificate of Achievement. This certificate is proudly presented to Ed Hansberry for your outstanding achievements of 55 years in business. The Parsippany Deli has been a staple of the community, providing exceptional Irish foods and deli products. Ed Hansberry has been an exemplary member of the Parsippany community, and I applaud your significant achievements. We did this back in August, but I felt he deserved to be presented in the whole entire community in Parsippany. This is for you, Mr. Hansberry. And also, he makes, I'm telling you right now, he makes the best chicken salad and by far the best coleslaw that I've ever had.
Potato salad.
But more importantly, I'm going to give you a key to the city, well, the townships, we're not a city. Well, we're going to give you the key to this, the town. You deserve it. Everybody in Parsippany that knows Ed loves Ed. It's like the show, everybody loves Raymond. Well, everybody loves Ed. And I can say that from my heart because I've known him since I'm a little boy here in Parsippany. I remember going up with Paul Crystal, Irish family from Parsippany here, one of my dear friends. We used to go up and get your sandwiches. And we didn't get this heavy by accident, so I can tell you that much. But I do want to thank you, Mr. Hansberry, because, you know, it's nice to see your son, your daughter, and your wife, and I get to go to the Parsippany High School football games and see your entire family. But that being said, I want to add one more thing. When I came to your place, I always go on, what do you call it, St. Patrick's Day. And as you know, our BA, he's Irish. And I actually bought him cookies. Remember the cookies I bought?
They're great.
He said the only place he can get them is at an Irish deli, and I told him there was one in Parsippany.
Yep.
So that's where we got it. But you've been such a gentleman over the years and years, and you've been such a staple in the community of Parsippany. I can't thank you enough, and I wish you another 55 years. Don't worry, hey, listen, you never know what today, I mean, come on. With that being said, congratulations. And now, when you have the key to the city, guess what else you get with it? You get to send the tax bills out in August, which means a lot of waving comes this way. But I want to thank you so much.
How many doors can I open?
We have a vault back there, so. So I would like to have the council come down and take a picture with, and family, please, as
Family,
well.
definitely.
I would like to thank the mayor and the town council,
Pardon me? Just got comfortable, yeah. I always get
the
comfortable.
people of Parsippany. Thank you very much. And it's been,
It's been a great ride.
yeah, it has its
Thank you.
ups and downs.
Yep,
I did have my American dream.
that's good to hear. I mean, when we used to have, football practice at Parsippany Hills, once we got done with practice, we'd go down and have one of his sandwiches, and then we had to go back for a double session. We didn't feel too good afterwards.
Come down, go.
Frankfurt in our way. I was right. Over here, please. Perfect.
You know what's weird too? We got all the Italians coming in, too. They go all over as well, so.
Making me in attendance.
I know, you make a good Italian, so. All right, thank you.
Mr.
Mr. Hensburg, congratulations.
No problem.
I know this guy.
How are you?
You're dead.
Ms. Common?
Yeah,
Right?
thank you. Appreciate
How are you?
it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's coming? That's where Father Martin is from.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Have enough.
Okay, this is in no specific order, Council President, but as you know, on October 7th, we did the Italian flag raising ceremony. We actually had the Italian Police of Italy come here to Parsippany, the Polizia di Stato, and it was actually a really good event. We have them every year. I've been doing it since 2010, and it's really a nice moment to get together for some members of those in Italy that where my family came from in the Campanian region of Italy, Salerno. We did, I don't know if I said this at the last meeting, we did meet the mayor. We did a coffee with the mayor at the community center, and it had to do with home security, which was very receptive. Best practices, I'm going to have the township administrator speak on the best practices. So trunk or treat will be on October 31st. I think it's from 4 to 6. So if anybody's interested to sign up. So this Saturday at Town Hall, we'll be having a shredded event, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. The shredded event's free for any of the residents. We also are waiting, on the residents on Meadow Bluff Road and Mountain Way with regards to speeding on those roads, and the possible resolution. What happened was, and as you know, there was complaints about speeding. We did our studies with the PD, school started, we did it again, and now we have some, information to bring back to see what they would like to see over there. I guess these microphones were changed because they're pretty powerful.
We did get new microphones, especially the ones for the public, just so you know.
Claremont Commons Roads.
Time, yeah. That's all.
The Claremont Common Roads, we had a meeting last week, myself, representatives of Claremont Commons, the township attorney, and Councilman Paul Carifi, and I think we're gonna make some headway there. We had some really good positive talks with regards to it and how we can move forward with Claremont Commons, because since I've been mayor in 2010, the roads are atrocious. So we're really committed to finding a resolution to getting those roads repaired and fixed, and we will be having a meeting with the developer, and we'll see what the resolution we have with them would be, but we're going to make a definitely concerted effort and commitment to repair those roads. So 11:30 on Thursday, I'll be meeting with the blue collar, two individuals, Mr. Campbell and Mr. Sanborn, with the township administrator and ourselves to discuss contractual negotiations. I won't go any further than that because we're still in negotiations and stuff like that. Let's see, did I miss anything? Oh, you did receive several emails from a woman from Rainbow Lakes. I'm sure you all got the emails today with regards to Fox Hill Road. And this is what I'm going to say. The woman's not here to defend herself in any way, so I'm not going to speak with regards to that. But if you want to get any information on what transpired on Fox Hill Road, on the traffic, just call the township administrator. We'd be more than happy to explain everything that we've done, and we've done a lot. We've done a lot. We made commitments. The only issue that is really, and I spoke to a lot of the residents in Rainbow Lakes, they have no issue. There just happens to be a few individuals that are a little upset, and really the time to go when it came to that road with Fox Hill Road and the Wawas was during when the application was being heard in Mountain Lakes. We don't control what Mountain Lakes does. We only control what happens in Parsippany, not Mountain Lakes. We don't control the traffic coordination on Mountain Lakes roads, or we don't even control the traffic coordination in Denville. So when you come into Rainbow Lakes, you start with Mountain Lakes, and you got a section of Parsippany, and then you have Denville. But that being said, so if you want to get the full story and what we've done, please call the township administrator. I'm not going to air it out here publicly, because we did a lot with regards to the traffic over there. And not only was I in contact with the individual that you got the emails from, I was in contact with other members and other residents in Rainbow Lakes as well. When you want to call me out, I have no issue with that, but you need to understand that we gave them we had police officers sitting out there for 4 or 5 hours. We had our engineer department down there. We've done everything we possibly can do. And when you call up, you're going to find out that there really wasn't much speeding on those roads. There really wasn't much, but we can't, you the council, we cannot control what the DOT has approved on that road for Wawas. We have no control over that whatsoever. So I just wanted to make that clear today, just in case anybody wanted to bring it up, because I'm not calling the person out, but I'm just saying we did have meetings with them, and I found out that when people don't like what they hear, because I'm a firm believer, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, and that's what happened in that situation. And I said when I came back as mayor, that's exactly what you're going to get from me, because I tell everybody that wants to run for office, the toughest word to learn to use is the word no. And there's times you're going to have to use it, and it's just, and, you know, we didn't use the word no, we just said we couldn't do certain things. So, with that being said, Council President, that's my report.
Thank you. Township Council?
Yes, Council President, I have an update from the League of Municipalities. You and I spoke on the phone today, and I sent you the resolution, and I'll let all my other colleagues know that the Morris County League has asked that Parsippany pass a resolution that is in support of Senate Bill 3739, which essentially asks to delay the 4th round of affordable housing obligations from July 1st, 2025 to July 1st, 2028. So I forwarded that to you along with the Word document, so if we wanted to adopt that for Parsippany's usage, we could do that.
I don't vote, but I'm in favor of it.
I also called the mayor on that letter. We certainly should adopt a resolution. Who would draft that? Would that be our township attorney, or?
Yes, I have the Word documents. All you have to do is put Parsippany in and
All right,
reduce the bill.
You got it.
Thank you, Mr. Lavery.
I have 2 items. Status of our Narcan. Any status?
No, we are still in contact with the sheriff's office. We're waiting for the sheriff's office to get back to us on dates.
I suggest you contact the sheriff himself. I spoke to him, and he said he can make it happen.
Okay, good. I'll do that.
So the procedure would be to determine how many individuals from each department you can spare. It'd be like a 1.5, 2 hour session. And everyone who attends the session gets a Narcan kit to make available to them.
It's a good idea.
So reach out to Sheriff Cannon for that.
Will do.
Street dedication.
I can't hear you.
Street dedication.
Oh, I can hear you now. I'll get that underway, Councilman DePiero. We'll have it done by November. I don't know why I haven't received the signs yet, but I will find out tomorrow.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna add another street dedication to that as well, so.
Okay. Well, these are the two I've been waiting for.
Yeah, we have those
about a
two.
year.
Anyone else on the council? Mr. Lavery, Township Attorney?
No report this evening, Council President. Thank you.
Mr. Cryan, Business Administrator?
Thank you, Council President. Just a few quick things. First, I sent over to the council a list of questions and a brief memo on the 2023 Best Practices Inventory Survey, which the state does every year. Basically, the Division of Local Government Services requires all municipalities to annually answer a series of questions regarding local government practices in New Jersey. This year's survey is due on November 4th. Our CFO and I are working on the answers. We'll have the answers done before that date, and at that point, we will circulate the findings to the council. And then at the next meeting, which is after the deadline, I'll let you know what our results were and where we stand as far as state aid is concerned. The questions are basically, it's a scorecard from the state that allows them to put every municipality on the same level by answering the same questions. There's about 67 questions dealing with ethics, dealing with budget, financial administration. They pick a few topics every year to kind of what they're going to highlight moving forward. And this year it seems to be lead remediation is one of them. That's pretty much where it's at with that. But it's a good opportunity to provide taxpayers with an additional means for evaluating their municipality's performance. If we don't pass or we don't hit a certain number, our state aid is reduced. So,
We go through that every year. That's nothing new.
I'm sorry?
We go through that every year.
Yes, every year. Yep.
So most of us have seen all those questions
Mhm.
before.
Yeah, they change every year.
Some
Yeah.
of them don't pertain to Parsippany.
Yeah, but they change every year. like-
Self-insured, for instance.
Yes, yes. So there's that. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, a few weeks ago, we had a meeting with Moody's, the bonds rating agency. And thankfully, to the hard work mayor, our chief financial officer, this council, and our tax assessor as well, and various department heads, we were able to maintain our credit rating of a AA2, which is very good. In this environment, Moody's and other credit agencies are downgrading, are looking to downgrade as much as possible. They've downgraded the federal government. So being able to maintain our rating was a very good thing. They said that it reflects the township's strong underlying credit quality, evidenced by its 2A or AA2 issuer rating and its reliable history market access. The rating reflects the township's strong economy and recently improving finances, offsetting its elevated leverage and fixed costs from the past. It's all good news. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Township Clerk, Mr. Madden?
Just a couple quick things, Council President. Tuesday, November 7th is Election Day. Polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. In Parsippany, we have 39 election districts. That's where you guys go to vote. Your election district will be on your sample ballot, on the front of your sample ballot. If you have any issues locating your district, you can contact our office and we can help you with that. That's all I have, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you. Township offices, committees, reports? I have one. The Economic Development Committee We'll have a ribbon-cutting ceremony for Nest Chiropractic, located at 341 Smith Road, on Sunday, September the 19th at 12 o'clock. Our next economic meeting will be held on November the 1st at 90 East Halsey Road in Parsippany. All are welcome. If you have any questions, please contact Frank Cahill. Thank you. Engineering report?
2021 road resurfacing curb and sidewalk program. The annual road resurfacing curb and sidewalk project is on hold pending negotiations with the contractor. No council action required. Rockaway River flood wall levee inspection. Our consultant is working on preparing design details and a cost estimate for the maintenance and repair work to the flood wall and levee. Recent site inspections were made to aid the design of the repairs. Once the design and necessary permitting is complete, the project will be advertised for bid. No council action required. North Beverick Road Streetscape Project Phase 1. The bids for the first phase of North Beverick Road Streetscape were opened May 3rd, 2023, and the total bid prices were significantly higher than budgeted. We are rebidding the project in September. Look to award this in October meeting. No council action required. 2023 road resurfacing curb and sidewalk program. The annual road resurfacing curb and sidewalk project is in construction. Work is anticipated to be completed by the middle of September. No council action required. Mount Tabor Street Improvements Phase 7. Construction of the Mount Tabor Street Improvements Phase 7 project is ongoing. We anticipate work continuing through the end of September. No council action required. Drumlin Drive stream cleaning. The NJDEP permits have been issued for this project. Our consultant is finishing the design, and we intend to build the project later this year. No council action required. Puddingstone Heights Road Improvement Project Phase 2. The second phase of Puddingstone Heights Road Improvement Project is in design. We anticipate bidding the project later this year. No council action required. Jefferson Road Improvements. We received a $760,000 NJDOT grant for improvements to Jefferson Road from Parsippany Road to Smith Road. The improvements include the resurfacing of the roadway, minor intersection upgrades, and significant drainage improvements, particularly near East Halsey Road intersection. Permit applications plans are being prepared. The project will be bid once the NJDP permits have been issued. No council action required. Lake Intervale Area Street Improvements, the first phase of the Lake Intervale Area Street Improvements project is in design. We anticipate bidding this project later this year. No council action required. Sylvan Way Culvert Improvements. We're working our design professionals on the preparation of plans and the NJDEP permit application. We anticipate bidding this project in early 2024. No council action required. Roadway design projects. The following projects are in design or proposals have been requested. Troy Brook stream cleaning, Silverway sidewalk improvements, river and stream desnagging, plans and permits, Etten Road traffic study. No council action required.
Thank you. Bids taken, September the 21st, 2023, well redevelopment services of wells 18 and 19, and pumping system replacements of wells 18 and 19. 2, October the 26th, 2023, transportation and disposal of sewage, sludge, cake, and/or liquid sludge. To be taken, October the 18th, 2023, Route 46 water main replacement design, Phase 2. There are no quotations, proposals, or qualifications. Public session, please.
I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public session.
Second?
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
The floor is open to the public on any matter. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Hi, good evening. My name is Brittany Gross-Jolly. Can you hear me?
Speak.
And I reside at 24 Puddingstone Road. I'd like to bring a matter to your attention tonight. This is regarding the application form for variance request to the Board of Adjustment. Can I pass this around for your reference so you can follow?
Yes. Thanks.
The official states the following requirement just above the sworn signature line for the applicant. Applicant has read and understands the regulation of the board and will comply with same. All property owners within 200 feet of the subject property and all other persons or governmental agencies, as required by law, have been notified or will be notified within 10 days prior to the date of hearing. The application shall not be complete until property owners are served and proof of service is filed with the board. For a recent application heard by the ZBA on October 4th for 25 Pudding Stone, the property adjacent to us, we were not present and we were not served until October 7th. Additionally, we have concerns of probable negative health and safety consequences upon us from this proposed project. The project promotes the disturbance of critical slopes by 3 times the limit of disturbance, movement of major amounts of untested and unsourced soil, and direct access stormwater into the groundwater supply, which our wells draw for our drinking water. As ordinance allows for appeals, we filed a notice and letter of appeal with the ZBA secretary for the board to rehear the application and reconsider their position. We requested confirmation from the secretary that the board members had an opportunity to read and review our appeal letter presented to her, and she did not confirm that that took place. Instead, she advised that the board will not rehear the application, and it appears that this decision was made unilaterally by the secretary, Nora Jolie. This is a cause of concern for us, as there is a recent incident where information meant for the board to review was withheld from them by the secretary. This demonstrates to us a pattern of omitting information from the board. I'm here to ask that the Township Council, you all, can do what you can do to investigate this behavior and make sure the appropriate protocols are followed and upheld. Thank you.
Next, please.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for your service. My name is Rohit Jolly, and I reside at 24 Pudding Stone Road. I am the husband of Mrs. Gross Jolly. My life experiences have shaped me to take health and safety very seriously. This is a health and safety matter, and it is the reason why I stand here today. I have a copy of the appeal letter we sent to the Board of Adjustment Secretary, and I would like to read it to you.
Well, just, okay, you can go ahead and read it, because there's no appeal to us anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
It's just, the only reason I'm hesitant is because we have to be careful up here, because the Zoning Board of Adjustment is quasi-judicial, so they're different than the Planning Board, so elected officials can't be involved in any of those applications, but I don't see a
Understood.
problem with you
Understood.
reading that.
Okay.
appeal letter.
This letter is dated October the 7th, 2023. Dear Board, my name is Rohit Jolly. My wife and I reside and work at 24 Pudding Stone Road. I'd like to start off by saying we thank you for all your time and commitment to issue variance rulings in Parsippany. It is admirable and your time is appreciated. With respect to the application above, we just received notice today, October 7, 2023, about the proposed work. I have attached the tracking information for your records. No one validated proof of being served on our notice before the board hearing, which took place on October the 4th, 2023. This resulted in our voices being silenced. We reviewed the video recording on the meeting, and we have serious concerns with respect to our health and safety from the adverse effects from this project. Some of it which include the fact that we draw our drinking water from our well water supply, and there is no proposed measure to avoid, minimize, or compensate for loss, changes to, and disturbance of this resource. The plans proposed suggest that the excess runoffs will be directed into our water supply. In addition to our drinking water, our heat source is geothermal and relies upon a clean well. Excess sediments into the well would impair our system from working properly and could leave us with no heat. There's no mention of where the soil fill is coming from, nor any requirement on the soil fill's purity to rule out contaminants such as lead. The risks of contamination to the well are increased under this proposal. Lastly, there is no specified period of time for this proposed project. My wife and I work from home during business hours, and the disturbance from this project will pose a hardship on us. We chose to purchase our specific lot to maximize peace, solitude, health, and road safety. As we did not have the ability to exercise our right to ask questions of the applicant's engineer, we have no choice but to appeal this decision. Reasonable alternatives include keeping the disturbance area minimal while allowing the applicant to convert slopland into a flat yard for their leisure. Additionally, we prefer that the stormwater diverts into the sewer system instead of our clean water supply. We also appeal to you to include this letter as part of the application file, reevaluate the application to protect the community from negative health impact, and preferably make modifications and or conditions before you memorialize your decision at your next hearing. Also, just to note, the board deferred the major soil moving permit to this board for review. So that may be upcoming on one of your agendas. So we just wanted to give you a heads up that we are not in favor of that. In closing, we believe that we only get one life to live. We purchased our home in the location. By the way, we had a death in the family. My wife did, immediate family member, and we drove 3 hours to come here today from South Jersey. So this means a lot to us. And we're going through a lot. So just want to state the significance of this. We purchased our home in the location with intention, as we are health conscious and wish not to be subjected to health hazards that can be avoided. We also believe the public has a right to be heard, and we are here to ask for your help and guidance in this matter. Thank you.
Sorry for your loss. Thank you. Please.
Council President, sure. So, first of all, and listen, all your concerns are obviously very important to you, and I mean, it's your home, so I totally understand that, but I'm just going to tell you what the law is with regard to notice and the appeal. So with notice, it's not personal service. The only thing the applicant's required to do is they apply for a 200-foot list. The town certifies people that live within 200 feet of whatever the development is, and then they're required to send the mail note, the mail out to each person on that 200-foot list. They don't have to receive it, they just have to show that proof of mailing. So they'll file an affidavit that'll be in the file, on file with the zoning board. As long as they've done that, it doesn't matter when you receive it or if you don't pick up your mail. My understanding in this case is that you have a P.O. box, so they mailed it, but for whatever reason, and again, I'm just saying that's what the law is. So it has to be mailed. It doesn't mean that you have to be, it's not like personal service of a complaint where they actually have to knock on your door and serve it. So,
That's understood, but that shouldn't waive our right to appeal.
well, no, I'm not saying it waives your right to appeal. So I'm going to get to that next, but I'm just saying that's basically in a land use application, they're only required to send it to people within 200 feet. If you don't get it or you didn't pick up your mail, as long as they mailed it and submit that affidavit, they've, complied with the statute. I'm not saying that makes it right. I'm just, no, I'm just.
Thank you for clarifying that, because in this situation, I wasn't sure what serve meant. Is that serving and...
You gotta get on the record. You have to speak into the mic. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Let them go.
Yep, thank you for clarifying that, because we were unsure in this incident what
sure.
served means. Is that served as in proof of service that we received it, or just that it was mailed and that's it?
No, understood. And when it says served, I can understand you having a question on that. And the land use law is very technical, so it's, as long as they submit the proof of mailing that show they mailed it at least 10 days in advance, they've complied
done
with the
their duty.
statute. Yeah.
Okay,
And
understood.
I'm not saying that's right, wrong, or indifferent, but that's what the statute is.
Understood.
With
Thank
regard to the appeal, you can, if the town has an ordinance that says you can only appeal to the town council if the town has an ordinance that permits you to do that. So Parsippany does it. And you can't really appeal to the zoning board, they've already made a decision. So your only appeal source would be filing what's called a prerogative writ, which is the magic word for what they call anytime you challenge a government action. So you have 45 days from when the resolution notice is published. So not when they adopt the resolution, but from when the notice of that resolution being adopted is published. So it's usually 7 to 10 days after the resolution is adopted by the board. So that would be your avenue of appeal, unfortunately.
Would it be appropriate to raise it to the Superior Court, or is
Well,
that...
that's where you would file
the
that.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not looking to create, it's just unfortunately, that's what the law is. So It's called a prerogative writ. It's basically a complaint anytime you challenge government action, and that's filed in Superior Court.
Within 45 days, is that?
From the publication of the notice, I know it gets complicated, but
Okay,
just
thank
keep an
you.
eye on, the resolution's usually adopted the meeting after the application's heard, and then, once they have to notice, they have to publish that. Once they do that, then you have 45 days from that date. So you usually get like 55 from when they adopt the resolution.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Labor.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Mr. and Mrs. Jolly. Thank you.
Thank
Excuse me, are we going to have one person speak on behalf of all of you? Okay, thank you.
So,
May we have your
Just need you
name,
to speak
please?
into the mic, state your name.
yeah, my name is Sumit Maheshwari. I reside on 21 Rukut Terrace, Morris Plains. Speaking on behalf of the Glenmont community, and again bringing up the issue that the road conditions in our neighborhood is atrocious. Mayor acknowledged it. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, for acknowledging the fact that, our roads are in a pretty bad shape, and you assuring us that you're going to be speaking with the developer. But at this point in time, after years and years of waiting for them to be fixed or even done basic repair, we are a little bit more impatient. We want concrete dates in action. I
From the
welcome
developer?
each one of you,
From the developer?
each one of you to please come to our neighborhood and look at the condition of the roads. Just walk in our roads, drive in our roads, and you would understand how bad they are. At this point, as you see, surprisingly in this meeting, how many people have showed up. Probably, more would have showed up, if this was on some other date. But the bottom line is that we need some concrete action. We need some concrete dates, and we need immediate repairment of the roads. Otherwise, this is going to be a big safety risk for our kids in our community. And plus, people, who drive in that. So again, I cannot stress more that the residents of Glenmont this time are getting very impatient and very frustrated with this whole back and forth, where unfortunately some of those road portions are still owned by the developer. The township has not taken it. I know recently we've had some dialogues and there's been some positive, movement towards township owning the road. We just want to know from all of you or any one of you, when will be that date when you will own the roads, and hopefully some tentative date when you would be, getting the roads repaired. Mr. Karifi, I did hear you say in your report, I was listening carefully, that for some of the roads in Parsippany, you even were able to get the Department of Transportation grant. I heard 766 or some number where, you guys have been able to figure out even something like that. If you could do it for our community, it would be so much appreciated. Because just think
Like the
about,
mayor
okay,
stated, that's
yeah.
what we're looking into.
Yeah, that, hey, listen, the developer has owned this roads and he's not gonna fix it, and so why should we fix it? But at the end of the day, we taxpayers are getting screwed because of it. So please help us, that's our ask. And hopefully we get some, not just the assurance that you're gonna speak with the developer, but today, the assurance that you're gonna own our roads and, some tentative date as to when you'll be able to fix it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, I've not been a part of those discussions at this time, but as I recall, those roads were never turned over to the town, and they did not meet our standards. So my question at this point is, do we still have the bond? Are we still holding the bond for that construction?
Well, I'll have the township attorney discuss that. The bond sorority company went bankrupt.
Yeah, this whole thing is a disaster. I mean, the roads are in bad shape. I've seen the pictures of them. But what happened was, performance bonds were posted. The bond companies went bankrupt. We checked with the Department of Banking and Insurance. There's no fund that actually, we thought there might be a fund there when they went bankrupt. The association, the whole thing is a bizarre setup. They have an association that is townhomes or condos, and then you have single-family homes that have roads in front of them. All of the roads are owned by the association, which doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the association is if you're looking at a map, it's up in the right corner, and then you have all these single-family homes. The association controls the roads. So the roads are in disrepair, but they were never turned over to the town. Now, for whatever reason, the developer had in their covenants and conditions that were recorded that you couldn't turn the roads over to the town. Now, I called and spoke with the developer's attorney just to try to find out and understand why. I've never seen that before in association documents. But he said, you know, it's his understanding that the developer didn't like to turn the roads over to the town because he thought that, you know, eventually he may want to develop areas around there and wanted to be able to control the roads. Be that as it may, the association up until, I think, June, wasn't even able, if they wanted to turn the roads over to the town. So they amended their bylaws, their covenants and conditions. They sent that to me August 23rd, so we received the amended thing. So that's where we're at. So now they're allowed to turn them over to the town, but the roads are in terrible shape. Now, the township engineer, Justin Lizza, went out there 2 years ago, and when we met with some of the single-family homeowners recently about this. I provided a letter that was sent by Jared Cantor, special counsel, back in 2021, saying, look, in order for the town to consider this, these are the steps you have to take. You're going to have to amend your covenants and conditions because right now you're not allowed to turn those roads over. And then number two, we got to get somebody to go out there and look at the condition of the roads because, you know, my understanding from reading, and I just read Mr. Liz's report, I'm not an engineer, he estimated in 2021 that it was $3.1 million to bring those roads up to standard for the town to accept. So, you know, I'm just guessing in the current environment, you're probably at least up to 3.5 million now. So, the developer, you know, it's built out there. You know, the Glenmont was, you know, Glenmont, whatever, LLC. This goes back, there's probably 20 resolutions of approval for various parts of Glenmont. So we're left with, so when we met in this meeting, the mayor said, look, we'll take a look and see what type of DOT grants we might be able to get. Now that would entail, you know, we'd have to accept the roads, I think, in order to be eligible for DOT grant funding. And then we're going to meet with the developer because Glenmont Commons just happens to be next to another development where they're looking to use our sewer system to get into the township. So I've already talked to the developer's attorney about setting up a meeting to discuss whatever contribution. But the problem is, you got a developer's agreement that would allow you to sue. The statute of limitations, that's a 6-year statute of limitations, that ran a long time ago. And there's really nothing left in the development because most developers incorporate each one as a separate corporation. Once all the houses are gone, there's nothing left to get. So this, I mean, it's just every time you turn over a stone, it gets worse. So that's kind of where we're at. So we're looking to meet with the developer to see what contribution we can get, if any. I did speak to the association's attorney. They had a meeting the other day. I know he's going in for back surgery, so we're going to talk. But that's basically the situation. So we don't own the roads. We haven't accepted the roads. They weren't offered to turn them. They didn't offer to turn those over to us until August of 2023. So that's kind of where we're at.
So hopefully, once all of these items are taken care of and the administration is looking into it, hopefully your roads will be taken care of at some date. I don't believe the township can say to you, next month, next year, you're going to have your roads fixed. I believe I can say that, Mr. Lavery. We can't give you a date, not with all of these constraints that have been put on not only your association, but the township.
But we are working on things which
Right.
you are aware of. You know that, so.
We are aware of it, but you also have to understand our situation. I agree, you know, you're saying hopefully, but look from our perspective. All of us who have been there have diligently paid taxes for, you know, since, you know, they've
Yes.
owned, you know, property in that neighborhood, right? The attorney acknowledges it's a bizarre situation as to why, you know, developer still continues to own the road, whereas, you know, he did not even build the roads to that standard. But in this process of you trying to solve that problem with the developer, we are the ones who are bearing the pain of a bad road and a safety hazard. There has to be something which you have to figure out, please, so that these roads can be repaired ASAP while you take that builder to task and figure out or recoup that money. But we have paid taxes diligently. You know, we have been law-abiding citizens. Why should we suffer? And why should we suffer anymore?
Well, to be fair, the town has plowed the roads, the town salted the roads, so you have been provided service, to be fair. And also, That letter was sent in October of 2021, so we discussed this at the meeting, which is, we understand the severity of the situation, but, you know, it took you 2 years to get that, and I understand it takes time, but it's been 2 years since the town laid out, and that wasn't my letter, that was somebody else's letter that said the steps that you had to take for the town to be able to do something, and we just got that.
That's
a month
not you
ago.
individually, that's the
That's,
association.
yeah, not you individually, it's the association. And that's for the other members of the public that aren't familiar with the
Appreciate the
situation.
fact that the town is plowing the roads. The condition that it is in today, you will not have any roads to plow.
No, I know,
It
but
is
the
in that
town
bad a
doesn't,
state.
the town doesn't own the roads, though. The association owns
And
the roads.
that's
And
where
we're
you're-
trying to help find a solution that doesn't impose a 3.5 million or whatever the number may be on the association. So,
Just to add, right, so this is like a almost 24-year-old development, right? And you have townhomes, 246 townhomes, but you have about 175 single-family homes. They have nothing to do with homeowners association. And they've been paying their taxes for all these 24 years, right? You are not giving us any discount on our taxes because roads are owned by HOA. You are taking full taxes year after year, but we are not getting the service. So all we are,
understood, but when you bought your houses, your attorneys that represented you should have told you that those roads were not accepted by the township. You know, that those were private roads. I mean, that's everybody, and I don't understand how the association would have accepted this during transition when they had the responsibility for all these single-family homes, but they did. Like, I understand what you're saying, but for whatever reason, the documents, the association's responsible for your roads, and I don't know why they allowed
You
this
know,
to happen.
and also, it may be a coincidence, excuse me, maybe a coincidence, but every issue that we're talking about tonight has to deal with the same developer.
Correct. Correct.
no, I agree. And the point here is, like any other single-family homes all over Parsippany, and you may be homeowners as well, when you are not part of homeowners association, for you to get a response that this is a HOA responsibility for roads, I have nothing to do. I'm a single-family homeowner. I don't deal with HOA, right? So to have a resident in this kind of situation, it's a bizarre situation. You know, town should not approve this kind of setup, right? Where builder can own roads that is not under his purview, right? When he sold this home and it's not HOA, you are dealing with 170, 80 single-family homeowners. You're keeping them in, you know, completely in a no man's land, right? You cannot have it both ways, right? If you give me my, you know, property tax rebate every year and say, okay, since, you know, town is not owning the road, you guys get, you know, 20% discount on your property tax, I will buy that. You cannot take the full tax and not offer me the service that you're offering to everybody. And I expect, you know, council to own up for the resident, right? We're not gonna go against builder.
How did the developer even get away with all this?
I have-
Madam Council President, come and just walk on our roads.
I will do that,
To
yes.
just come and walk on our roads and then tell that, would you live in that house if roads were so bad?
Thank you,
mean,
I will
it's-
do that.
It's a serious risk, why, that's why you see so many people.
And
Right.
not only roads were bad, right? Since we are having this water pipe issue for last 4 or 5 years, town water department is coming and opening up roads. Everywhere you will see like 4x4 or maybe 6x6 feet patches that they've done to fix up their water line. But when they patch it up, it's not a good patch. Now you will see within the development, there are 30, 40 places where you see those big squares where roads are going down, up, all these, you know, manholes are coming up. We have had serious accident just a month back. People trying to avoid manhole because it's popping up 6, 7 inches up. They ran into another car.
A kid to avoid that hole ran into someone's vehicle and got hurt. Now,
No.
is that what we want to do here?
No, of course not. And I think Mr. Lavery has explained it to you perfectly, and hopefully, I keep on using the word hopefully, and I know you're not happy with that word,
Because
but
you've been patient for so long.
I understand, and I think we all understand here, and I think the administration is doing its best now that we know what has to be done, and hope it will
Ask
be
you to
taken.
please work on some dates to say,
Well, you-
by this date, you need to.
You know, we have some, what we're working on, and we have some time frame, you know, that
Should we-
you're aware of,
So
so.
should we take your word that you may give us some?
You know-
time by
you know-
October
you know
and
what
or
we're doing.
November?
Well, you know that there's some meetings and stuff that are being set up and are set up, so those need to occur to move on.
Yeah, we already asked the engineer to check into to see if there's any grant money available. So when we get that answer, we'll give you that answer. But the council is trying to help. It was trying to help.
No, no,
Like,
we
I don't know what the
appreciate that.
association's
Don't get us
doing,
wrong,
but
right? But I just,
the person
like you
that owns
say-
the road, which is the association, I don't know what they're doing, but
You know,
the township is trying to help.
see, until now, things were okay, but in last 2-3 years, it has become dire. It's a safety issue for the resident, for the vehicle drivers, for kids, seniors who are walking around. I'm sure with your plow also, you'll have that problem, right? So I think everybody should, some of you may have driven in the development, but those who haven't, I sincerely urge you, just drive around. You'll realize how bad it is. And everywhere you see those square marks, patches, it's a town water department has dug it up and done it all over our development. They've made a bad situation worse. All right, so we sincerely request, please take this as a high priority, and we'll be here, if possible, every town meeting to stress on this, and we expect, a more rapid response on
Okay.
this.
Thank you very much for coming
My
before us.
question, if the road is owned by developer, is he
It's
responsible for?
it's not owned by the developer, it's owned by the association. The
Association.
developer does not own the
Are they
road.
responsible for plowing the snow?
They should be.
Should be.
They
But the
should
town
be, or are they
doesn't.
responsible for it?
They should be.
They should be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how
The town is
come
going above
town
and
is
beyond to
not
do it.
penalize them by night doing their job?
Here's the problem. If it snows and we have to get emergency vehicles, whether somebody needs an ambulance up in your development, the town can't sit by. The mayor's not gonna sit by and let that happen. So the DPW goes out and plows those roads and salts those roads, 'cause it's a
Correct.
public safety issue.
That's very important, but at the same time, how come town cannot penalize the association, saying, okay, you have not done your job, town had to do for you, and here's the penalty for it?
Well, here's the problem not the problem. There's a thing called the Kelly Act. So if the association plows their own roads, then the town has to reimburse them at what it would cost for us to plow the roads, right? So either way, if it's a public, the town can plow the roads, or you have to reimburse them under the Kelly Act. Well, since the association didn't do it, there's no reimbursement due, so the town went and did it because it's a public health, safety, and welfare thing. So, and for whatever reason, for years, that's been done because nobody did it.
Okay, understood. The other question we have is that if, being a homeowner, if you don't mow your lawn, the township comes and gives us a ticket. There is some area that developer or association owns it, and it doesn't plow it till it gets like almost 3 feet high. I don't think so they get penalized or anything like that. Versus any single homeowner or home association, if they don't do certain stuff, the township comes, gives them a warning, gives them a ticket. How come all those measures not taken towards the association or the developer?
Well, here's the thing. Since you live on the roads,
Correct.
right, there was a case decided about 10 years ago that says that even though you might not be members of the association, you have some liability for that. So you're asking why we haven't sued you, basically.
Correct.
And it's like, it's not good for the town to be in a position of suing its own residents. So there's a number of things. You could do a special assessment, but it's $3.5 million. So that's why when
But
we
three and
met-
a half million came up after 20 years, so until 20 years.
But it's not the town's fault
Okay.
that the association didn't, first of all, they had this bizarre thing in their covenants and conditions, which somebody should have picked up when somebody bought a house or a condo or something in there that said the roads could never be turned over to the town. And I remember one of the gentlemen we met with had a planning board resolution that said that the roads were to be turned over to the town. The problem is, those covenants and conditions are a public document on file at the county. So, for whatever reason, the association didn't amend that until 2 months ago. So, this
Okay.
whole thing is like a law school exam question. I've never seen anything like it.
So to wrap this up, last action was done somewhere in 2021, right? Until then, I don't think so anything much has done. So who is taking care of this project? Is anybody personally responsible for taking care of this project?
Well, just
or
I
it's
think as
just-
Mr. Lavery had said, the engineer will be looking at possibly getting DPW loans
Mhm.
and grants, and hopefully it will be going forward. Mr. Mayor?
What we discussed, and I don't remember if you were in the meeting with regards, that we would look to get a, NJDOT grant that, we apply for every year. Okay, the problem we have is we don't own the roads. Now, say we were to repair those roads without owning them. Well, what do you think's gonna happen to the town? All the other developers that had their roads repaired by themselves are gonna come back for payday from the township. And we know there's a lot of developers, and there's a lot of roads in Parsippany we do not own. But they're gonna ask us to now buy their roads, to repair their roads. We don't own them, so that's the issue we're at. But if we can get a DOT, an NJDOT grant, which we applied for like in June, whenever we apply for it, and they agree to it, what would happen, and what, you know, I've dealt with these before when I was an administrator, I think what would happen is they would say, we'll maybe give you a grant, but those roads have to be dedicated over to you before you get the grant money.
And that's something that the
That's what we're working, that's one of the things we're working on.
Okay.
We can't touch, we can't touch those roads unless we own them.
Okay.
And that's the issue. Now, if we were to do it, you'd have to have the council approval, because the mayor can't approve it, council approval, but I can guarantee you, you're gonna have other developers in this town come and say, you know what, we paid for those roads, we repaired our roads, and yet you took these roads over. Now, if I'm wrong, you know, you can let me know, Counselor.
No, you're absolutely right.
You know, and that's the issue we have. You're talking maybe $5 million to repair these roads, but when all those other developers come, you're gonna be in the tens of millions.
So the township won't own it until the developer associate has
Well, what
repaired
we're
it.
trying to do is get a grant, and that helps us out. And if the DOT says, yeah, we'll give you the grant, like, for instance, I'll give you an example. When I applied for grants when I was a business administrator, I'm just talking about trucks, not roadways. We got a special DEP grant, okay? But they said, we will not give you that grant money unless you destroy that other vehicle. Well, this is very similar to what we hope we can do. If they say, we'll give you the grant, those roads it's gonna be in phases, of course, because you can't do it all in 1 year. They'll break it down into phases, we'll break it down, our engineer will break it down, and then phase 1, and you got phase 2, I think it will only take 3 phases to do it, but we want them to come and like 1 year, 2 years, 3, and what they'll do is, most likely, look at the roads that are the worst in the area, and that's what we'll shoot for first, and then we'll go to the ones that aren't so bad. So that's what we're looking to do. I know, listen, I've been up in those roads, and I've been mayor since 2010. I lost, but, you know, for 4 years, the roads haven't really changed much. And it wasn't because we didn't want to do it, it was because we didn't own it. So now, you know, we're gonna make an effort to get that grant. We're gonna really fight for the grant. And with that being said, if the roads are dedicated to us, that's a good thing, because that means we're getting the grant money, of course. But we're working on it. I mean, you know, and, you know, I can't say this publicly, so I'm not gonna say it, but we are gonna be meeting with the developer. And, you know, I think everybody I think they should have some skin in the game as well. So, and that's where we're at right now. So it's not like we're not trying, and I get it. The roads are horrible there. And I can attest to it. It's bad. I saw the sewer caps, the road's sinking.
I'm not sure who's coming to patch it up. They do.
And I think that's where we have an advantage with the grant. We can say this is, you know, an emergency type of situation. You know, an emergency in the fact that, hey, listen, if we don't do these roads.
The ground is like kind of outside the box resolution, right?
Right, so basically, the roads are that bad that I feel, and I could be wrong, because you can never really, you don't know what the DOT is gonna do, but I think they would give us the grant, knowing the conditions of the roads, because they're not gonna get any better.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Just if I can ask a question. So my name is Pradeep Kupchandani, 184 Summerhill Drive. So just wanted to understand something. So I guess we are in this situation because whenever the last home was built, the roads were not transferred over the way they were supposed to be. Is that right?
Correct.
So somebody, I apologize, it's not this administration, but the previous administration 15 years ago, 2006, 2007, didn't do their job, right? And that's why we are here today.
Well, no.
Is that not right?
To be fair, no. What happens is when a developer has an association and they're building whatever development, they own the association. They have to create the association, then they have the majority control of it. Once they sell X number of units, right, maybe it's 51% or 60, they then do what's called the transition, and they basically turn everything in the association over to the residents for them to operate it. So at some point, and look, there's plenty of blame to go around here, but somebody should have read those documents and saw that, hey, these were never turned over to the town, or I don't know when the bond companies went bankrupt, but you know, that the bond companies are bankrupt, so because they had performance bonds posted, so they're gone. But at the time of the transition, this was handed over to the association. The association should have said, well, wait a minute. Because it says right in the association documents that the roads can't be turned over to the town. Again, I've never seen that before in 35 years of doing this. So why that was done, I don't know. But that's the thing that was just changed this year. The town sent a letter in 2021 saying, hey, association, you can't turn these things over until you do X, Y, and Z. So that was the first leg of it. So that was we received that August 23rd. So at some point, and again, I can't understand how the association not only controls their roads, but they control the single-family roads. It doesn't make any sense. But that's what happened. That's what the documents say. So now at least the town's trying to cobble together a solution that, resolves the problem and helps it. But it's a mess.
Okay, let me ask one other question. It seems like Plan B is to get the grant, right? Is Plan A long-term to get the roads turned over to the township or no?
Yes, I think that the plan is that we may have to, in order to get the DOT grant, as the mayor said, I think we would have to, as a requirement from the DOT, you'd have to own the roads. They're not going to give us grant money for roads, so we would have to work that out with the association and say, all right, we're getting this DOT money, now we'll do the transition.
Right, but you can't, anytime you apply for a grant, they will never give you a grant on private property. Only a grant on public property, which is why we would have to own the roads.
So your question is, is the town going to eventually own those roads? That would be the plan. Yes.
Right. So, but I also heard the term that in case of an emergency, it's a safety issue, right? Everybody agrees it's a safety issue, that's possibly a loophole. Is that what I heard correctly?
Right. What I said basically, that could be a form of an emergency situation because, man, these things are strong. They didn't work last week. But it's more of an emergency type of a situation where, we want to get these roads over to us and then get them repaired. And we would tell the DOT, we're in a tough situation here. And
we're hoping because how bad they are, we can get the grant approved quicker.
So Mayor, any idea when do you think you'll be requesting to DOT, like timeframe wise, like?
Well, right now, we're like on it right now. The minute we had our meeting, the next day we were on it. And the meetings are being set up by the counselor. And, we're not going to stop. And, we just need to know what the DOT says. And if the DOT says, yes, you have to own those roads, then that's the next process in order for us to get the grant.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for coming here.
We appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Divakar. I live in 34 Autumn Ridge Road, part of Glenmont Commons. So I want to bring up the promised part, about it, Mayor, because I think you would still remember a kid asked you about that in the Arbor Day celebration a few years ago. And maybe possibly that kid has grown out and then don't need a park anymore, right? So I know your answer is going to be you're still on a meeting with the builder for that. But thing is, right, what our concern is, I live in Autumn Ridge Road, which is right next to it, that the proposed park area is not even clean, right? Like as one of my neighbors said, like if I don't cut the grasses, the township penalizes me, like why not the builder for not maintaining their property? And what is that the council or the township can do, at least to maintain the property? I mean, at least the property, because you have wildlife there, like we have a lot of deer sightings there, right? And a school, the kids' bus stop is right next to that corner, right? So it's really a safety hazard. Like we have sighted bear on that very property. I can show you videos for that.
Take a look. Just take 4 feet, 5 feet grass.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right, I'll just,
Yes, I think the
let me respond real quick with regards to the park. So I'll give you a little history of the park.
No, I'm not talking
No,
about the park being built.
I know, you're talking about, so I'll give you that. We approved to put a park there in 2017. I did not win the election, so in 2018, I guess that administration decided not to do it, the park and stuff like that. And I think the reason was they wanted to do a phase 1 environmental study. Okay, the town, which I think is prudent for the town to do. You have to let me finish.
One at a time.
Which is prudent for the town to do, because, if I would have won going into 18, I would have done the same thing that the mayor that took over for me did. We have to have an environmental study. You have to. Well, from what I understand, I wasn't here at the time, the developer didn't want us to do a phase one study. So they own the property now going forward. Now, as for overgrown and stuff like that, it's not a park, it's not, I don't know what we would have to do with send housing down, because I get your concerns when it overgrows and things that,
It's for years.
We
Right.
have a property maintenance ordinance.
yes, I know, we can afford it.
You can't build a park tomorrow, right? That's fine, but at least you should have taken some action against the property owner for not maintaining it for years, right?
Right.
But that was not done, so it can something be done.
Yeah, we just, we can do something. We'll send our property maintenance down, to take, they're gonna have to look at it first, and then they'll speak to the owner of the property. So I'll have Jamie, reach out.
Is it just going to be a one time, or are you going to make sure that's going to be maintained?
Well, they'll have to maintain it all the time.
All right, thank you, thanks for that,
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate that.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for giving us the time. I'm a resident of Glenmont Commons since 2016. James Barbaria was running for re-election. 2016 is when I moved, as he just mentioned. 2017, he came there for inauguration of the park. Fallen officer's name was going to be on the park. We were very excited. That little kid was standing right next to me at that time, actually. Very excited. Dad will have a park. I came from Belleville. I lived in Jersey City. And then I moved here, thinking that amazing, beautiful property. But come on, I feel right now that I live in Brooklyn. Bad roads, all right? Gentlemen, we pay altogether at least about $5.5 million in property taxes. Respect us, okay? Panel is running for re-election here. We are committed to vote this time together. We have been told on our faces that your community does not commit to the voting process. That is the reason why you're being ignored, okay? Legal matter, I heard about that. There is a lot of, mumbo jumbo that we had been hearing. Political, Soriano didn't do this. I'm gonna do this for you. Come on. I mean, it's commit to our community, okay? Respect. We come here, work hard, generate properties like this. Our kids are happy to live in the community. Show us some respect. It's about time.
Okay, I'm gonna respond, if you don't mind, Council President.
I think the time is up, too.
Yeah, just
Yes,
real
it is.
quick,
Time is up.
real quick.
I'd
When
like
you
to
make,
continue.
no,
Yeah.
when you make comments that my administration, do not care for the Asian community, you're absolutely incorrect. Incorrect when you make, no, excuse me, you spoke. When you make those accusations, you're incorrect. I treat every ethnic group the same. I don't treat anybody else differently. We're one community. That's what we are here in Parsippany, one community. To sit here and say that we don't, because you say we're gonna go out to vote, I'm not making this political. You are making it political. No, you spoke, and it's my turn. You made it political just now.
Yeah.
I met with the Asian community. I meet with them constantly, but I also meet with other individuals in the community, because everybody has to have a voice. I understand that. But to sit here and say it's because we don't go out and vote, I don't know if you go out and vote or not. That's up to you. That's your personal preference, what you do. But to sit here and say we're not helping out because you don't go out to vote is incorrect.
We have been told by politicians.
Well, I don't know who told you. Whoever told you is incorrect.
Mr. Mayor, you had voted for our temple. We appreciate it. We have beautiful $25 million structure in Lake Hiawatha. I appreciate what you do for the township. I appreciate it. We have been told by elected politicians that you do not commit yourself. You don't come and sit here at meetings.
Whoever those elected officials are, I will tell you right now, they're nothing but liars.
That person is no longer
They're
here.
liars, because that is not a fact.
That person is no longer here.
Well, whoever it is
Gave you incorrect
incorrect.
information, okay? Incorrect information. We respect, just as the mayor has said, every single one of us on this panel.
I appreciate.
Okay, all
I
right.
really appreciate that you respect, and I did not say Asian community. Our community. Maybe it's an Asian community, but I said our community in general is being literally ignored.
No, they're not.
Ignored. Please, look at us. Come on. Make our kids happy. I mean, they come down the hill on their bicycles,
All right,
they
sir,
fall.
I've let every one of you speak, okay? And I thank you very much.
Thank you very much
You've
for the
given
time,
us your
but please look
concerns.
at something.
We are. Thank you.
Help us. We need your help.
All right, can I
And
just
we're
say
and
one
we're
thing?
giving you the help.
Can I just
And-
say one thing?
Go ahead.
Remember that 2 years ago, this township sent a letter to the association saying these are, and I had the copies of those letters at our meeting, and said, these are the things you have to do in order for the town to be able to consider to take over the road. 2 years later, the town gets a response, just last month. So I'm not blaming anybody sitting here, but I'm just telling you that you know that 2 years ago. So now, when you come in here and you say nobody's doing anything for you, that's not true.
I'm sorry,
No, I'm
Council
sorry.
President.
No more.
Yeah.
Sir,
Brought it up, right? I just
sir,
wanna
I'm
make-
sorry.
No, no,
Time
we-
is up.
we
brought
I'm
up a
sorry.
point.
Okay.
No,
Well,
I-
you
We have
can
to,
Can I
interpret-
the debate? It's not about.
No,
This
this
is
is,
not
you
about
guys have been
what
given
you
a lot
Thank
of
you.
leeway today,
Thank
so, yeah.
Anyone else care to speak?
I was here last week, and I gave a letter from Mr. Ben Spinelli and some examples of advanced property reports. The only person that responded to me was Mr. Musella, Councilman Musella. But my intention was either in one ear, out the other, or I was not listened to. What I asked you to do was find out from the source, Mr. Spinelli, or the Highlands liaison, why these tools, these science tools, are not being used, or they're taboo by our zoning board of adjustments, and I would think our planning board too. But why would anyone not want municipal boards who are admittingly not experts using expert tools available to them for land use issues of major development that affect us all? To say they are internet hoaxes or invalid, coming from an official state NJDEP website, is absurd. How can a local municipal board supersede in a type of supremacy to undermine these available tools created specifically for these purposes? These available tools are created for boards and the public. Now, the board members are admittedly not experts, and members of the public are not experts, but the tools are expert tools. And to not allow them, but my request was not to have the council advise the board, but to find out why they are not using these science tools, advanced property reports, and interactive maps available specifically for these boards. We don't have an environmental commission, and these reports would substitute as environmental resource. They show you the character of the land. Why would you not want to know the character of the land before you erase it or alter it? But I appreciate Councilman Musella's response, but I get the opinion that the rest of you, I'm just a bag of wind when I'm up here. Now, these things are important, and especially in the issue of what is attempting to be done to Pudding Stone Heights. Those people have a creed of life up there that's about to be changed or erased forever. And to be told by a board member that these official reports and scientific tools are internet hoaxes or invalid, there's something wrong there. And if you have anything to do with appointing these people to the boards, when I attempted to straighten this matter out, and I got Spinelli's letter, and I was told by a member of the board, I won't mention his name, when I mentioned the term advanced property report, his response was, "We don't even know what you're talking about." Really? Really? He's on the board, he doesn't know what an advanced property report is? So there's something wrong about this whole thing. And it's another monstrosity by a developer that's well-known in this town. And some of his victims were here just a little while ago. And he's about to create another monstrosity. And the only tools, if you don't have a lawyer, is the public who actually cares about their home and where they live. And if we can't use the best tools available to us to quibble or argue with a developer's supposed experts, then there's something wrong in Parsippany. And thank you, Councilman, at least for giving me an answer.
Yeah, and what I would add, and when you sent that email, I was about to,
Nick, just so you know, time's up.
oh, are you done, by the way?
Well, Paul just said my time's up, so.
Okay, I didn't want to interrupt you. But I spent a lot of time in nature, as you're aware, and it is on my list of things to do to call Mr. Spinelli. So I do plan to do that. I was away for some time.
All right, thank you.
All right?
Thank you very much.
Okay, all right, Nick.
Not to belabor that point, but I'll just make this one statement. The planning board and the Board of Adjustment both have professional planners, professional engineers, and professional lawyers who advise the members of both of those boards. They're the professionals that give advice to our board members. So they're not flailing in the wind. They do have professionals advising them.
Thank you. Anyone else care to speak?
Hello, my name is Patrick Campbell, President of Parsippany Blue Collar Workers Union. I just wanted to come up and first say thank you to Mayor Barbario and Mr. Cryan for making time to meet with Craig Sanborn and myself later this week. We look forward to having what we believe will be a productive conversation following the previous council meeting. Furthermore, to administration and to the council, our members would like to continue to attend these meetings so that we can keep up with what's going on within the town. We feel that these meetings are important to our union and have an impact on the careers and personal lives of the men and women working hard to keep the pride in Parsippany. And then the last thing I'd like to add is, unfortunately he already left, but to Ed and the Irish Deli, thank you for providing great food at a great price to our town workers. I mean, I'm one of the guys that's gone in there plenty of times and eaten there. But thank you for this and look forward to Thursday. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yes.
Thanks.
Anytime any of our town workers would like to come to our meetings, they are more than welcome to attend. Is there anyone else that would like to speak this evening?
Seeing no one come forward, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
The floor is closed.
Ordinances, please.
Ordinance 2023, semicolon 24, ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 296 entitled Peddling and Soliciting to amend the hours such activity shall be permitted. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on October 17, 2023, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on November 21st, 2023 at 7 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter as the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi?
Yes.
Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Mr. Musella?
Yes.
Mr. Neglia?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:25. An ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, Morris County, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 83, Section 4, Regulations of Licenses of the Code of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. Be it resolved that the above ordinance be introduced, read by title, and passed on first reading at a meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills held on October 17th, 2023, and that said ordinance be further considered for second reading and final passage at a meeting to be held on November 21st, 2023, at 7 p.m. prevailing time, or as soon thereafter the matter may be reached at the municipal building in said township, at which time all persons interested shall be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance. Be it further resolved that the clerk be authorized and directed to advertise said ordinance, with the notice of introduction thereof being published in the official newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the above resolution by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Grignani.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:20, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 430, zoning section 430-267, development regulations of the Code of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills. Notice for ordinance 2023:20 was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, on October 4th, 2023, and introduced at the September 19th, 2023 regular meeting. Motion to accept ordinance 2023:20 be heard in its second and final reading by title only by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
And Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
This time I'll entertain a motion to open up the public hearing for this ordinance and this ordinance only.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Musella. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
The floor is open to the public. You have 5 minutes to speak on this ordinance only.
See no one come up, entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
Floor is
Whereas
closed.
the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading, and that ordinance and final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution above for ordinance 2023:20 by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:21, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, adopting the Block 737 Lot 3 redevelopment plan. The notice for ordinance 2023:21 was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, on October 4th, 2023, and introduced at the September 19th, 2023 regular meeting. Motion to accept ordinance 2023:21 be heard in their second and final reading by title only, made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
Motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 2023:21 made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
The floor is open to the public on this ordinance only. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Seeing no one come forward, I'm going to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and hearing held thereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on final reading, and that the notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in the newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution above for ordinance 2023:21 by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ordinance 2023:23, an ordinance of the Parsippany Township Council of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, adopting the 2 and 3 Campus Drive redevelopment plan. The notice for ordinance 2023:23 was published in the Daily Record, the official newspaper of the Township of Parsippany-Troy Hills, on October 9th, 2023, and introduced at the October 3rd regular meeting. Motion to accept ordinance 2023:23 be heard in their second and final reading by title only by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Grignani.
Yes.
Motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 2023:23 by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Grignani.
Yes.
Floor is open to the public on this ordinance only. You have 5 minutes to speak.
Seeing no one come, motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2023:23 by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Grignani.
Yes.
Whereas the above ordinance was read in title on second reading and hearing held hereon, now therefore be it resolved that said ordinance be passed on the final reading and notice of final passage of said ordinance be published in a newspaper according to law. Motion to approve the resolution above for ordinance 2023:23 by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Grignani.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Non-consent agenda resolutions. R 2023-151, awarding a contract to S. Batata Construction, Inc. for rebid North Beverwick Road Streetscape Phase 1. Motion to approve the resolution above by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Grignani.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Resolution 2023-151, amending Resolution R 223.
152.
Excuse me, it's 150.
152, excuse me. Amending Resolution R 2023-131, authorizing a shared service agreement with the Parsippany-Troy Hills Township Board of Education. Motion to approve the resolution by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Grignani.
Yes.
Motion passes.
R 2023-153, authorizing the application for an extension of time to award a contract under the New Jersey Department of Transportation MA-2022-North Beverwick Road Streetscape Improvement Project Phase 2. Motion to approve the resolution made by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Musella, seconded by Mr. Karifi. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Consent agenda, be it resolved that all items listed with an asterisk are routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussions of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Neglia, seconded by Mr. Karifi.
Who's reading that?
Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Applications.
No, approval of bill list.
Approval of payroll.
What about applications?
That's under the
all
consent
part of it.
agenda.
I don't see an asterisk there.
It's under the consent agenda. There's A and there's B. So it's still listed under it's just separate from the consent. It's separate from the other resolutions because it's a
Okay,
license.
but all the others have an asterisk after the resolution. R 2023-149 asterisk. This one does not have an asterisk.
Must have been a typo, Mr. DePiero. I apologize for that.
Okay. Approval of payroll and bills list. CFO Leonard Ho recommends authorization for payment. Item 1, authorize payment of the October 27, 2023 regular and miscellaneous payroll estimated at $1,650,000. Item 2, payment of bills from voucher list of 10/15/23 through 10/17/23 is $2,118,875.27. Motion to approve the authorization for payment above by myself.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. DePiero, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call. Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Karifi, seconded by Mr. Neglia. Roll call, Mr. Karifi.
Yes.
Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Mr. Musella.
Yes.
Mr. Neglia.
Yes.
Mr. Grignani.
Yes.
We're adjourned, everyone. Have a good night.